You're live.
Yes, and I'm living for love.
Great. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay. It's New Year's Eve.
It is.
The theme for this video was party because of New Year's Eve. The options to vote on were Party Girl, 24-Hour Party People, Party Monster, House Party 2, and Psycho Beach Party. So obviously, party in the title was required. This was an interesting voting situation because two movies were very close. And then I received messages like, you have to do one over the other. But I mean, I have to go with what won for the voting.
Sure, but you might have a surprise up your sleeve.
I might have a surprise up my sleeve. So of the five, which did you vote for?
24-Hour Party People, because I've never seen that one.
If I could vote, I would vote for 24-Hour Party People because I hadn't seen it.
But I actually hadn't seen House Party 2 either.
Oh, I had seen it, but I think I saw it in the mid 90s. Party Girls with Parker Posey. I know that.
And Guillermo Diaz, Daisy von Schurler-Meyer film, I believe.
24-Hour Party People, I don't know what that's about.
Steve Coogan's the star. Michael Winterbottom, I believe, directed that. And we saw their film Greed. We reviewed that.
Party Monster is a story based on Michael Alec, that New York City club kid and party promoter who was convicted of murder and got out of jail a few years ago, I believe. I mean, I know he got out of jail and then died, but...
Starring Macaulay.
House Party 2, there were so many questions on why we didn't do House Party. We had just watched House Party.
Yep.
So I didn't want to rewatch it.
In preparation for the remake that's coming out next week, directed by Calmatic.
Yeah. And then, of course, I've seen Psycho Beach Party more than once.
It's been a long time.
Which is a fun movie. Okay, so House Party 2 is a sequel to the 1990 film House Party.
Directed by Reginald Hudlin, who would leave the franchise to go on and do Boomerang right after this.
I enjoyed House Party. We can talk about it. But House Party 2, I think the basic IMDb synopsis tells it all. So when kids' college money is stolen by a crooked music promoter, Play's solution is to stage the mother of all pajama parties. This synopsis kind of ruins it because we don't know the party promoter is crooked. Right. I didn't read the synopsis until after I watched it. So I watched the movie not remembering that Iman is kind of like a villain. So this synopsis ruins it.
Iman and her cohort, Louie, who is a musician, he was in the Madonna music video Borderline.
Oh, so the film stars Kid and Play, that rapping duo, and Kid, the light-skinned one with the high top.
Christopher Reid and Christopher Martin are their real names.
So in the first film, they're in high school. In this film, it's a year later. We find out that Kid's dad, played by Robin Harris, dies, which occurred in real life. He's graduated high school and he's on his way to college. And his church has helped raise money to send him to school. $10,000, in fact. So this crooked music promoter is Iman, and she convinces Play, played by Christopher
Martin,
that she's gonna sign them. They have to record a demo, but at the last minute, she says, "My business partner robbed me. I don't have any money. If you could get the money, we can record." And we find out that stupid Kid had the check from his church on his person, left it in Play's car. Play found it and was holding on to it to get back to his friend. But when Iman says, "I need money," he's like, "Well, I have this signed check, which I guess is good as cash. Here you go." And of course, she steals it. So the pajama jammy jam is a party they're going to throw to raise money to keep Kid in school, but it doesn't raise enough money. So ultimately, Play sells his car, this pretty red Mustang convertible, to give his friend the money, and all's well that ends well.
Through the whole thing, you're talking about what a shit friend Play is, and then it's like, the end he comes through.
No, I think Play is a shit friend. I do, but we could talk about it.
He's okay.
So I'm just going to go through my notes. The film's dedicated to Robin Harris, the comedy legend who many people know from this movie, but also Bebe's kids. He created that.
Yeah.
The first movie also has John Witherspoon, who's also dead, and I love John Witherspoon.
Same, yeah.
I really liked the first movie for nostalgia, for Robin. I think the Robin Harris, like playing the dad, is such a positive character.
Well, and kind of that's what adds as we were talking before, this adds the tension that the first movie needs that this one doesn't have.
I feel like this movie's lacking a little tension just because, I feel like, I don't know. The film opens with Kid having a dream, not wanting to disappoint his dad. Whoopi Goldberg's in the dream.
Yeah.
And then there's a portrait next to Kid's bed of his dad. And he seems responsible to that. But yeah, that being said, overall, I thought this movie was okay. I enjoyed it.
Yes, it's trying to do a few things, but it's not. I wouldn't. House Party 2 isn't really a great title for it either. They should have done a party series where this should have been called College Party or something, because it really makes no sense.
Actually, yeah, they could have made it. Yeah, I agree.
But this was co-directed by George Jackson, who's never directed anything else, more of a producer. A lot of people that worked on New Jack City, which I love, were in the background on this. And Doug McHenry is the other director who went on to do Jason's Lyric and one of your favorites, Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come is my favorite. One of my,
and
it's in my top 4 for sure.
With starring Whoopi. Rusty Kundieff has a story credit, and he directed Sprung, which I know is a soundtrack you really like, and also Tales from the Hood, which is a film I really like. And Daryl G. Nickens wrote the screenplay, who before and after primarily worked in television, but wrote episodes for A Different World, 227, The Parkers. I think he's dead now.
Okay. This movie is only 90 minutes, and it feels like there is a lot happening because the idea of the party doesn't happen until the hour mark.
Right.
So we get, and then the party ends like after 15 minutes, and then there's the follow-up. For such a short movie, a lot is happening. The movie also spends a lot of energy calling back to the first film, which maybe I think, I don't know. I mean, they are back to back, like a year apart as far as when they were released. So I would imagine that was fun. I think watching it, if you hadn't seen, like we had just watched House Party, so it felt more linear. But I think if you haven't seen House Party in a while and then you jump into House Party 2, it
seems disjointed.
Well, like I don't know that I needed all those callbacks and all the people.
Well, like Full Force feels very unnecessary in this film.
Well, I mean, we could talk about that. So in the first film, Full Force, those 3 guys who are they're like the bullies in high school who are grown ass men, they're back. But in the first movie, they were the villains. In this movie, they're not. There are 3 villains. And I feel like they're like number 3. Because the main villain, I think, is the dean of the college has an assistant, this guy named Miles. And Miles, from the jump, it's very clear that he is manipulating or playing Kid. He tells Kid that he can help him with his financial situation by like shuffling some papers around in the computer, but he's lying. He really wants to get at Tisha Campbell's character, who has nothing to do.
Sidney. Well, that's a subplot that really should have come to the fore. I
think.
Would
you say Miles is the main villain?
Kinda, but he's defanged, very quickly. Like he shows his true colors in the end.
And then I guess the second would be Iman as the crooked music promoter and her little sidekick. And then there's Full Force, who, if I thought they were too old in the first movie, in this movie, they have the actor from 227, whose name I don't recall. She plays their mother.
Oh, Helen Martin.
Helen Martin, I don't know how old she was when she filmed this, but she could be like in her late 80s. So then it's like, well, if that's their mother, then these are middle-aged men. And they ultimately get a job as security at the college. They kind of antagonize Kid and Bilal, played by Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, Bilal.
Who, in the first movie, they kept making fun of Bilal's bad breath.
That's right.
And in this one, they don't mention it. But I feel like Martin's teeth looked worse in House Party 2. They looked more dingy. So I feel like his breath would have been worse in the second movie. He clearly got veneers for Martin, for his TV show, because his teeth in Martin are perfect. But anyway, yeah, I didn't I didn't love that there were like 3 villains.
Well, and then there's the kid is at odds with a couple staff members, including George Stanford Brown, who's playing Professor Sinclair, who won an Emmy. He directed a lot of things. He won an Emmy for Cagney and Lacey in the 80s for directing.
Oh, Cagney, is that the lady from Queer Eye or Queer as Folk?
No, you're thinking of Tyne Daly. But
what show was Tyne Daly in?
Cagney and Lacey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. She's in Queer as Folk?
The mother. Who's the mother from Queer as Folk?
The redheaded lady?
Hal Sparks' mother?
That's not Tyne Daly.
That lady was on a very popular TV show like Cagney and Lacey.
Okay, but that's not Tyne Daly. Tyne Daly is Tim Daly's sister, and she was married to George Stanford Brown, interestingly.
Someone will tell me in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
The mother from Hal Sparks' mother in Queer as Folk, she played a very popular character in a TV show. Like she was the lead. But yes, the timeline for the story of this movie is interesting because it feels like we spent an entire semester with him, but I think it's only like 2 weeks because he gets to school and then like it seems like after a couple of days or like the next, like when does he go to give his check and then the check like they say your financial aid didn't go through?
That happens right away. He's trying to buy his books.
And then he's given an extension and then the dean says you didn't meet your extension.
And then he tries to get a job on campus in the kitchen.
And then he's given a week from that second deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's a lot happening in a short amount of time, but it's made to feel like a much longer.
Right.
Because his relationship with Tisha Campbell devolves
very quickly.
Like by the 3rd day, they realize like this is not gonna
But that's because of Queen Latifah's character, Zora.
Well, let's talk about Zora.
Zora, who likes men, all kinds of men.
Girl, Dana, we know. Khadijah, we know. Dana Owens. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like
I did like her little she gets a little rap song when she's making a speech that I thought was kind of
she's a talented rapper, yeah. But yeah, that character, I had a problem with not her messaging because she's very like pro. I like the idea of Zora, but I didn't like how she's very controlling of Tisha's character until she gets dressed for the pajama party. And she's like, well,
you think your own thoughts. You need
who are you? What's her character's name? Tisha's?
Zora. Oh, Sidney.
She's like, I hope Sidney shows up to the party. Bitch, you've been trying to control me for the last week, telling me everything I'm doing is wrong, and then I dress like you and you want to clown me.
Yeah, and she does. I'm like, and before I got what she was doing, I was like, but you wear clothes like that.
Also, their living situation, they lived in a very nice, what looked like a villa, and then
yes, at the top of the hill. I think these characters should have been balanced. I wanted them to be more balanced in something like John Singleton's Higher Learning. I think that would have been a better way to navigate all of these people. But I wanted to shout out his boss in the kitchen, Mr. Lee, is played by Tony Burton, who many might recognize as Apollo's trainer from the Rocky films.
So I was thinking, I thought this when I was in high school, because a lot of kids, I did get a scholarship to go to college, but so money wasn't a big issue. But I remember thinking a lot of people, like their church would raise money for them. And so I was thinking like, maybe I should have gone to church so I could have got a check, but that would be a reason that I should have gone to church. So the check situation.
Interesting.
I don't understand how this worked. First of all, the church just gave him a check written out to his name. So that boy could have just cashed it and not gone to school. They should have sent that money to the school, number one. Number two, what is Iman going to do with the check that's made out to another person? I didn't like that.
Because it's cutting corners.
I don't know what banking was like in 1991, but it just doesn't make sense that she would take a check that's not written out to her. And then I was so fixated on why didn't kid tell the church that I lost the check, y'all put a stop payment on it, and then issue me a new check. I don't know why he didn't do that.
I don't know either. But they make a point several times because I think Play says a couple times like it's just as good as cash. No, it's not.
Is it?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. I had a bank account in 1991, but I don't recall that. The dorm that kid lives in is called Trump Hall. I thought that was funny. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then Play runs a record store, or
he's managing it.
He's the manager. He doesn't own it. Then there's a character in the record store it's not the guy in the wheelchair who we can get to, but like one of the people working in the record store, they keep cutting to him making like the hand, I don't know what you call that motion, but
there are a lot of sound effects in this.
There are a lot of weird sound effects that I thought were utilized a little bit too much.
And I completely missed where Daryl Chill Mitchell was in this, because I remember.
Daryl Chill Mitchell, when they're at the Pajama Jammy Jam and Martin Bilal is DJing, the guy who bumps into the DJ booth, that's Chill.
That's why I missed that. Yeah, because he has a
very small part.
He was more prominent in the first one.
But that gentleman got into a bad motorcycle accident years later and has been in a wheelchair for like 15 plus years.
I remember him very well from Galaxy Quest.
But he's had a pretty nice career. He's in one of those NCIS type shows, which I recognized him from. So I'm glad that he still works. Something that I found interesting and why I'm wearing my Janet Jackson shirt is this movie set in 1991. And it's about music. And one of the characters works in a record store.
Oh, you have a gripe.
Well, I have a gripe, not specifically about my girl, but just like there are a lot of references to music and movie posters, but they're mainly men. The only female artist we see is Tracy Spencer. But other than that, it's all men everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's really weird because in 1990 and 91, the most popular musical artist, not female, not black, but period, was Janet Jackson, number one. Number two, a movie about like three guys who are always objectifying women. I just find it hard to believe that they never mentioned any females.
Because they weren't thinking about them.
But then they have they have Iman in it. They have that one woman who manipulates to have sex with. So I just thought it was really weird that they focus a lot on male musical artists.
I think they had different things in mind because they were trying to make more of a point with the character played by Kamron from Young Black Teenagers. What was his name again?
Jamal.
Jamal.
The white guy with the dreadlocks. Who we could talk about him, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then I think it's funny, speaking about Jamal, I guess, that he and Kid are the same skin tone.
I know.
I had the biggest crush on Kid when I was in high school. And I really like how he looks with his, that's a different
movie.
We'll save that today. When you mentioned this actor who plays his professor in like cultural studies, the first day of class, that professor knows Kid's name.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in that class.
I thought that was weird. I think the details around the school and how it worked,
how money works,
a little crunchy.
How payment. Well, the part that one of the funnier bits, speaking of sound effects, when he's trying to pay for his books, and then there's an Asian girl working at the counter, and he's like, she talked about her family. He's like, "Oh, are you from Japan?"
Well, no, she goes, "I'm trying to make money so I can go back home for the holidays or spring break or something." And he's like, "Oh, from Japan." She's like, "No, from Texas." "Where are you from? Africa?"
but when she tries to take his payment, there's this alarm.
Declined or whatever it says.
Bad check. She's like, "Don't worry, that happens all the time."
Then the scene where they're getting ready for the Pajama Jammy Jam, the guys are wearing like the onesies and they all stuff their underwear. I thought that was a weird scene.
That was odd. There were like weird throwaway moments, like Miles, that white professor coming by, and he's like, "Oh, I liked your talk on blah blah blah." He's like, "Oh, I'm about to do a dissertation on Thanatos and Eros and the works of Fielding." Like, okay,
that code switching lion ass Miles, but I mean, like again, I almost wished. I didn't like there were three villains. I wish like it would have just been Miles trying to like destroy Kid for whatever reason. But also speaking of the college, I wasn't clear, like, is this supposed to be an HBCU?
Based on the class curriculum, like, oh, those classes
but
are
then the demographic, I wasn't sure. But then the dean is white, so then I was confused.
Well, then there's a protest about them potentially getting rid of black
culture
history.
Study. Yeah. So that was interesting. Then when Kid tries to ask Tisha Campbell for money,
and they break up,
and then that devolves because she thinks that he's trying to break up with her.
Oh yeah, she's real salty.
Yeah, I don't think Tisha's anything to do
because she doesn't.
Yeah,
she doesn't.
So we do get. I think a highlight of the first film is the actual party and the dance sequences. I thought those were a lot of fun, and in this one, I feel like it's okay. I mean, the music's okay. You have Ralph Tresvant performing,
yes,
and you have Tony.
Yeah.
So those were highlights, but I didn't get the same energy of
Not at all.
crew dancing. So I missed that.
Not at all. And what's his name? Kamron performs as well.
Speaking of the performers, how did they get the money to pay Ralph? Like, if they're throwing a party, the party was pretty. Where did they get the money to throw this elaborate party?
Well,
they could have just gave that money to Kid. Like, how did they pay Tony to Ralph Tresvant?
Oh, another thought I had was like a pajama party. We were watching how Stella got her groove back, and there's a pajama party in that.
That's right.
I guess that was big in the 90s.
We watched this movie on Amazon, which like their platform Freebie or Freebie with a V like
VEE.
There were commercials for Pluto, like that TV platform featuring Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, so every now and then Drew would break into the frame running.
The way Freebie, it's V or B?
V.
The way Freebie busts in the commercials is so disruptive.
Yes.
And then, like I did not. Amazon needs to fix that.
Well, otherwise the thing is you pay to rent it then, so you don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just wish they would like figure out a way to, and then the way, Drew Barrymore was so distracting to me, these commercials. So Miles, when he's at the party, he's really trying to push up on Tisha Campbell because he convinces her that if she doesn't have sex with Kid, he doesn't want her. But then he's being such a creep that I don't know why she's attracted to him. And then he really does push up on her. And then at one point he like manhandles her and like drags her up the stairs, like in a violent way.
And then he throws her and he's like, says something like, "You ain't nothing." And Iman gets hit, and like, I know Iman didn't let her face.
Queen Latifah's character punches Iman. That was funny. And then we see a random gay couple come out of a bedroom,
like lovingly holding hands.
That seemed like maybe that was an editing issue, like they just had an extra scene to throw in,
or that there was more and then they cut it because they were afraid of a reaction.
I did think the resolution at the party was crunchy because the police show up with the security officers full force, and then like the dean shows up in his pajamas. Like, does he sleep like that? And then the police know all of Iman's aliases, and then the dean is like, no, the security. That wrapped up too conveniently. I know it's a comedy, but it was like, okay.
It's real silly.
Then Kid, just out of the blue, because when he and Play go up to the roof after everything's settled, there's a baseball bat on the ground, and Kid like slips on the baseball bat and is like dangling off the roof. That seemed real unnecessary. And then so after the party, and we realize that they haven't raised enough money, then we get what I thought was too long of a sequence where Kid is kind of saying his goodbyes.
Yes.
I don't think we needed that. But then again, the movie's not long, so it's just odd how there's so much squeezed in that I didn't feel like we needed. Then that's when we find out that Play sold his car to give the money.
Which is a nice scene.
Yeah, we also get a scene of Kid at MacArthur Park,
which is the cleanest I've ever seen.
The cleanest you will ever see MacArthur Park.
It won't look like that ever again.
It didn't look like that when Donna Summer sang about it. So that was, and I'm unclear where they're supposed to be. I didn't think this movie was set in LA, but we see LA twice distinctively, because we didn't even mention Play's mom is I keep mixing up this movie and Class Act.
Yeah.
We can talk about Class Act. That's all I have, though. I mean, I think my biggest issue with this movie is we miss Robin Harris. I think that the tension that the dad would have provided for Kid to try to do better is missing. Well, I think the biggest thing that's missing for me watching it, 20 plus years later, there is some nostalgia because I'm very familiar with that era and the music, but it doesn't feel aspirational. Like the feeling I got when I watched A Different World as a teenager and thought I have to go to college, specifically with other Black people. This movie didn't give me any of that. It just doesn't present college in a way that's like, why does Kid even want to be here? Why is he fighting to stay when he has a record deal looming as far as he knows?
And it's not, you could do both. You could work on both things, but he's not even working at school. Like, he's not reading any of his materials.
That's right. He's not even being a good student. So which also is another reason why I think the same way I felt about Kid in the first movie, I feel about him in this one, which is like kind of spoiled, kind of not like, I wish you were more self-aware. And then Play ultimately turns out to be a good friend because he performed a selfless act. I mean, not a selfless act, but he showed that he wasn't completely selfish by selling his car. But it's like, I don't know. But then I feel like if I were Play, I'd also be frustrated with Kid because it's like, we could get a record deal. Why don't you just, like, why didn't Kid record the demo? And then if it pops off, then yeah, fool, drop out of college because you're going to be a recording artist. You can always go back. So I just thought like Kid is like unreasonable. And then especially now that your dad's gone, it's like,
yeah, he's a little bit of a fool. And I think that's why the film is trying to give him these alternative father figures all over the place with the pastor at the church, his employer, his professor.
I also feel like I appreciate that the film is trying to encapsulate a lot of social issues, specifically with like the Jamal character and that cultural studies professor and what they're talking about. And then of course, Zora.
Yeah, I think it misses out. And I think it misses out on what it's trying to do with the Kamron character as well, because he knows Malcolm X while Kid is ignorant about what he believed in. He's also, there's a copy of Black Like Me, the John.
Yeah, Jamal's reading a book called Black Like Me,
which is a very famous book from the 60s. Which I don't know that the way that he's presented would have been familiar with that book. But again, there are interesting tensions there that it doesn't play with at all. And I did see Christopher Reid gave an interview where he said Martin Lawrence and Kamron did not get along, got into a fist fight on the set.
Well, I was reading that the actor who plays Kid, he actually has a BA in English in real life. So that's cool that he got his education and became a recording artist. And then, yeah, I mean, I think because we watched House Party so recently, I really missed Robin Harris and John Witherspoon.
Well, and it's just funny looking at Robin Harris, like he was what, 37?
When he died, he was like 36, 35 when he filmed House Party.
Yeah.
So yeah, his health was not the best.
He was in decline, yeah.
But because of this movie, we, it recommended other things and we put on Class Act.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked Class Act more than, I thought Class Act was actually a cute movie.
Yes. Well, it was a lot more cohesive. It wasn't tied to all the things that the sequel had to be tied to.
And the writing of Class Act feels more clever.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I would watch Class Act again.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really cute. But that's all I have for House Party 2. What would you give it?
2.5. I mean, again, it's silly and stupid in some parts, but it's also trying. It's trying in many ways to speak to something. And I've seen a lot worse. But
I would give it 2.5 out of 5 as well. I thought it was fine.
There are 2 more House Party movies.
I feel like I need to watch them. I wouldn't review them. I've seen them all because I know the most recent one has that band Immature or IMX, like the younger version.
Mm-hmm. Well, because House Party 3 came out, I think, in 94, and then House Party 4 is like well over a decade later.
Oh yeah, so it's the 4th one that has them. So I can go through the comments. Why didn't we do the first one? Because we just watched it, and you hadn't seen the second one. Mm-hmm. BMCK liked Avatar. That's good.
I mean, amazing to look at.
Someone's having brunch in PV. I hope you're enjoying. I hope the weather's nice. It's raining in LA right now.
Yes.
Yeah, party month. Well, I think my secret movie for the podcast might be Party Monster.
Might be. It is.
Well, we haven't watched it yet.
No, but okay.
Well, just because it was so close, and I think it might be fun to talk about.
I haven't watched it probably since it came out.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, that was what, 2003? I watched it like when we were in the last house.
So. Oh, I remember it playing at like the Lagoon Theater in Minneapolis.
Oh, 24 Hour Party People has an amazing soundtrack.
Yeah, that's a big Winterbottom film I've never seen.
I don't think House Party 2 was so bad. I think, well, I think if you felt some...
Well, it's fun to see all these people. And, Whoopi is fresh off an Oscar and providing just like a throwaway cameo. I don't know. There's a lot of people in this that I like.
I think for what it represents and the time period and like these types of movies even getting made and having some success and the nostalgia factor, and as a kid, like a teenager, I remember feeling excited about getting the chance to see these movies. But yeah, I don't think they're like the best made. Oh, so you met Kid and Play in the 90s? Yeah. Oh, but I was saying I had the biggest crush on Kid, and then seeing him in class act with like his hair twisted. I
Mhm.
thought he was really cute in that movie.
Mhm.
Uh
Well, his character's also sweeter.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the difference. His character's sweet and cute, and he like his physical acting, like when he gets the
And he's
twists
playing with
and he
it.
keeps playing with his hair. I think that's really cute. Um Oh, funny, Boomerang and PM Dawn. That PM Dawn song I have on my gym mix that I listen to all the time.
The remake, yeah, I'm curious to see what Calmatic, who's also a musician, does with House Party, because he also has remade White Men Can't Jump,
Oh, which
which I just watched for the first time pretty recently too.
wait,
That
you watched that movie?
Mhm.
Oh no, I thought you were saying you saw the remake.
Oh no,
I'm
not yet.
excited to see the remake. Yeah, White Men Can't Jump was a surprise to me because it wasn't what I thought it would be.
Not at all, no. But I think there could be some improvements, specifically with what they, the Rosie Perez.
Do we have
character.
a podcast about White Men Can't Jump?
No, I think I brought it up because
we talk about it in one of them. Yeah, it wasn't what I thought it would be. Yeah, Martin doesn't have any funny lines in this movie.
He has a moment where what's his name?
He helps save Play at one point and convinces him to like give him $20.
He Plays trying to hit on that girl in the store, and Bilal is bothering him, and he's like, something about how I'm gonna beat you up. He's like, I doubt it. He has a couple.
You might do a lot of things, but you won't hit me.
Okay, Tamisha.
Yeah. Let's see. 3 8. Yeah. I'm saying yeah, like no one knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, Whoopi's in it. Play really did get played. Do I think Play was a shit friend? I kept saying he was, and I kind of feel like.
Well, you kept saying like, I don't like him. Yeah, but again, he's doing things, but he makes up for it. There's some atonement.
I think, what bothers me? I think their friendship bothers me. It seems like they're not really aligned. Like they're so involved with one another, but they don't really.
They're the type of high school friends that would, after high school, should drift apart, probably. But
you were reading. They haven't done like after they did the third.
Well, they did Class Act, and then they did House Party 3.
And then that was it
until House Party 4.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think they did.
But I mean, they haven't really. I wonder what happened to them.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they stopped doing music though, because that's what they were known for first. And I think after they started acting, because I don't remember any albums from them after. I might be wrong, or some one-offs, but.
I don't remember Party Girl, so that might make a good podcast.
Party Girl, where she loves Baba Ganoush.
Did we do New Jack City for the podcast?
No, but I love that movie and I could watch that anytime.
I could rewatch New Jack City.
I remember thinking Ice-T was so handsome in that movie.
He has his moments. You know what I don't like about him? His mouth sometimes looks a little too wet. I don't know. But
specific.
Well, it depends what angles you catch him in. And
sure. I have very fond memories.
Rusty, Fear of a Black Hat. Oh God. Is that a movie?
I'm not sure. I guess I'm not familiar with that.
CB4. CB4 was a hard movie to watch because we couldn't find it. Remember, we had to find it at like a theater or didn't we find it in a video store?
Cinephile Video, yeah.
Yeah, we had to go to this like very specific video store in Santa Monica.
Who directed that? The lady from the Half Baked lady directed that, right? Tamra Davis or something.
I'm not sure.
That the funniest part for me in that is he's trying to get away from people that are trying to hurt him, and he's like, I know where they'll never follow us. It's the 101.
Oh. I feel like we have to watch House Party 3.
Yeah, of course.
But there's no rush. So many people have asked about the movie Piggy. Have you seen that?
Yeah, you saw it too, I thought.
From Sundance?
Sundance, about that big girl with the serial killer.
Oh, and she's in love with that serial killer. Well, that movie's been released already, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, I don't recall thinking it was...
It was okay. There were things I liked in it.
Yeah, I don't know when I would rewatch it. But yeah, we watched it at Sundance. You talked about it on something. Yeah. I haven't seen. Oh, I don't have the Sharon Glass is the actor.
mother.
But what is the show she was on?
Oh,
No one. Wait, Vanessa Williams is in New Jack City?
that sounds right. In a smaller role.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Wesley Snipes. CEO wouldn't want to be you.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I also really liked Hal Sparks. Sharon Glass.
Or are you getting her confused? Somebody said with Red on Orange is the New Black, who's in the Star Trek series.
No, I was right.
Oh,
Sharon Glass is Cagney or Lacey. She's one of them.
Oh shit, she's one of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I only know Tyne.
She was Cagney.
Oh, there you go.
I know I'm not crazy. Yes, Sharon Glass was Cagney from Cagney and Lacey.
Okay, I've never watched it.
I don't think I watched it either, but I just knew that. You know why? Because when I watched Queer as Folk in the 90s, there were older homosexuals like my age now there, and then they would try to say like, you know who that is? That's
yeah. Oh, from Queer as Folk. Yeah.
Yeah, when I used to watch it back then. Ruby Sparks.
Yeah, that's from the Little Miss Sunshine directors. God, I haven't thought of that movie in a long time. I'm not really the biggest Paul Dano fan or Zoe Kazan, but that movie's cute. The thing I appreciate most is it introduced me to the song by Plastic Bertrand that they're listening to in the dance scene.
I don't know that I've watched Higher Learning.
I watched it recently.
Since like high school, maybe.
Which I like almost all of except for maybe Christy Swanson, but that's actually, I think, kind of a well done and ahead of its time film.
Zoe Kazan, what is she in?
Oh God, you just saw her in.
No, but I mean, why are we mentioning Zoe Kazan?
Because she was in Ruby Sparks. And
I see. Yeah, I'm very surprised that no one mentions any pop ladies from the 90s in this movie. Like, yeah, where's Janet? Where's Tony? Whitney. Like, no one mentioned any of these ladies.
Again, I don't think they were thinking about that.
Class Act is better. Oh my God. My cousin used to deposit empty envelopes to get cash out of the ATMs. So I had a roommate, I always have a roommate story, who would do that.
Mm-hmm.
He would do it all the time. And, after a few times, the bank would stop allowing him to deposit, but he would just open new bank accounts. And he did that a lot because, they'll give you like $100 off of whatever you put in. So he was doing all that for like $100 and he would do it like 3 times. So it's like you're committing bank fraud for $300, but he had a gambling problem.
Yeah, well, God, that's so much work and stress. I can't do that.
Because he would also kite checks, so 2 bank accounts and float that money. Then he would do the payday loan.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like work.
Right. Just get a part-time job. But no, he had problems. The movie Get the Raspberry. Oh, Sparks, Freebie, pretty good. Yeah, I don't want to shit on Freebie because I've watched a few movies through Freebie.
Because when I try to watch something that there's a rental price, you'll be like, I don't want to pay that.
School was way cheaper than that. Yeah, because we were talking like with 10,000 cover. But yeah, my first year at undergrad in 1996 was, I want to say it was like 40. Just the tuition was under 5,000 for sure. And then, of course, books. Because my room and board was equivalent, I believe. Like what I would pay for 4 months in the dorm was what it cost to do a semester. And that was like 2,000 something.
I don't want to think about it.
College was great. That's good to know. Also, Christopher Reid is doing voice work. The Drew Barrymore ads. It's just her running through the streets looking crazy, talking about Pluto TV. But every commercial is like her sitting, like it's just like it blends into the movie we're watching.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden it cuts to like a scene where like Drew Barrymore sitting on a subway. And it's like, what is this?
Wearing all yellow. Yeah.
I don't dislike her, but I don't need to see her in anything.
Same. She's okay.
Her talk show kind of annoys me.
No.
Because she's one of the ones who acts like she doesn't know how life works, which is fair. She's been famous forever, but it's, yeah.
Remember Poison?
I don't find her relatable.
Remember Poison Ivy? That was super relatable.
Ugh. People are saying nice things. Thank you. Oh yeah, Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton are doing a New Year's Eve like special,
Okay.
which sounds interesting. Oh, I think I skipped shit. Okay, sorry. Oh no. Okay. Well, your son's home from college. I think we're gonna watch Party Monster today, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'd have to for tomorrow.
Oh, Big ZD sounds good.
It does sound good. I'm actually.
We're going to dinner at what kind of restaurant is that? Chinese?
Something Asian.
An Asian restaurant?
I'm not sure. I've never been there.
The corn casserole making an appearance?
That's for family gatherings, so it can impress everyone. No,
yeah, don't make that just for the two of us because we'll just eat it all.
It will be, it won't last long. It is really good, but not good for you.
Which one of us handles spicy food better? Probably you. Well, you like spicy food.
I made this fool pasoli one time, the food of his people, and put these peppers in it, and he accused me of trying to kill him.
You fucked up and put too many. Like you put the whole. You didn't mean to put that kind of pepperage in there.
I had some extra peppers.
I like spicy food. It just never occurs. You know what I don't like?
I heard screaming from the kitchen.
I don't like when people add spice to their food before they taste it. So you are very quick to just dump shit in your food before you taste it.
I don't dump.
You immediately start, before you taste your food, you start pouring stuff on it.
Everything always needs a little more flavor.
I'm not like that.
Okay.
Well, because it's like if you cook the food, why didn't you season it properly then?
Because I like to add more to my portion. I'm thinking of you.
I would think that a chef doesn't like that. Like I prepared the food the way I want you to eat it, and then you're gonna go and put fucking A1 sauce on my, or you're gonna.
Well, when you grow accustomed to cooking for sensitive palates.
I'm not that sensitive. I just don't need like. I like spicy food, but I would say you handle it better because you automatically want spicy food.
I do.
And I've had more situations where I was very uncomfortable, like going to a Thai restaurant. Well, I only did that one time.
Chiang Mai Thai.
I didn't realize when you go to the Thai restaurant.
They got me too.
Specifically Chiang Mai Thai in Uptown Minneapolis.
Are they still open?
Someone needs to close their ass down because that spice. That was the one and only time I realized you don't ask for spicy.
I was like, I'm going to have to stop right now.
I'm like, oh, I like spicy. I could eat it. It was a problem. It was so bad that the waitstaff was concerned. They were bringing me like pineapple juice, mango juice, milk. Like
you also have a low pain threshold.
Sure.
You do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that answer. Class Act. Yeah. That's a good movie.
Will you watch the new cut of Bardo?
I haven't seen the old cut of Bardo. You did.
The new cut might be better because part of my problem with that, the original cut is how fucking meandering it is, and it's like just self-indulgent. And for not a very interesting character, yes, interesting, important themes in the background, but I don't know. Like it felt like it was directed by somebody who's not accustomed to being told no.
Margot Robbie's hair in Babylon. I didn't talk about it. I think she looks good.
How it's not period specific.
But I don't think her hair is very 80s because it looks more crimped than like that's her natural texture. So yeah, but I do think she's a beautiful lady. But no, she didn't look like 1920s or someone who would be well, because in the one movie she shoots, the first movie we see her shoot, her like she's like a last minute thing, so her hair is all crazy. And then the second movie, her hair's done like I feel like it's like waves and pulled back. And then the talkie, her hair is appropriate. But yeah, outside of her filming, her hair does seem not.
Oh, at that party with the little waves.
Oh, that was a good scene.
Mm-hmm. I think that there are good, interesting scenes in that, and I think that maybe if Shizdel was a little older, maybe could have. I don't know. He's also somebody I think that's not accustomed to being told no, or like you should edit. But
someone says my hair looks on point. Thank you. Isn't 200 Cigarettes a New Year's film?
I've never seen 200 Cigarettes. I know Christina Ricci's in it. He got a huge ensemble cast, but
Why is Carlito's Way so underrated?
Not according to Cahiers du Cinema, who called it one of the 3 best films of the 90s. But I don't know.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, it's Brian De Palma, Pacino, Sean Penn in a really creepy supporting role. It's got some very great De Palma-esque moments in it. Penelope Ann Miller, who we just saw in Kindergarten Cop, which Joseph.
Oh, we watched Kindergarten Cop, which I thought was very cute. When Arnold's in with the students, I liked it. I think the thriller aspect of it is not.
Well, we can't scare people. I do. And Joseph was bothered by Carol Baker, who I'm a big fan of.
Who's that?
The grandma.
The grandma.
The evil grandma in Kindergarten Cop.
Well, she's the evil, yeah. But she did a good job with that role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know why it's underappreciated, but like a lot of films, it doesn't deserve to be. That would be a fun one to show you as well.
Thank you, Elusive Bunny. We're besties in your head. That's sweet. That's very Wendy Williams. I've also met Bobby Brown. The time I met Whitney Houston, I had to give him a tour of our property, and he was not nice.
Well, I remember you said he was nicer than she was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because she was just acting wild. Black movies like this shaped my teen years, but also Party Girl shaped my idea of NYC when I came to live here in '96. I feel like so we're probably very close in age. Yeah, I think movies like this really. Well, and then I grew up in Southern California, so movies like Friday and Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society, like all these movies felt very like adjacent, even though I mean I did grow up in South Central Los Angeles, but my experience wasn't. I was very sheltered and didn't have friends, so I didn't leave the house. But yeah, I feel very connected to these stories. But I think being in '96, I was 17, and the idea of moving to New York City would have been like, I mean, that would have been a dream that wouldn't have been attainable, like to think about. But
Sure.
yeah. But that's so cool that someone got to, like, people get to do that. The Nepo babies.
Oh God, I'm glad finally somebody's starting to highlight what bullshit that is. It's so annoying to me.
Well, but I feel like I think it's easy to highlight that in an industry where people have visibility, but that is something that happens
everywhere.
Of
like, course.
My dad's a doctor, so it's going to be easier for me to get into medical school because I can shadow doctors and get letters of recommendation. I know what classes to take. I probably have the resources to take Princeton review courses to do well in the MCAT, or if you're a politician, I just like that's everywhere for everything. It just sucks when it's so in your face, especially when it's like they don't seem that talented. Like,
well, because a lot of what did Tina Fey say in 30 Rock? Any dum-dum can be an actor.
But I feel like the nepotism thing to me is the acting part of it is not so shitty to me because it's like, well, they're accustomed to that world, so they probably are better on set. Like they know how the shit works. They know. I think what's more egregious are these people who get to make movies because their parents are, and it's like, you're not even good at this. Your parents have all these famous, you have famous connections who will give you money.
But also like getting them in to be seen by directors to audition, and the whole kit and caboodle of it is, I think annoying. Or the novelty of who's one that bothers me right now a lot, like Ray Nicholson. Why? But
I always say, like, I'm not going to knock someone's hustle. And if someone gave me a chance for whatever reason, I would take it. I'm not stupid. Like,
sure, of course.
Like if someone just told me like, hey, I want to give you this show because I like whatever, or you look like my son, or, people have been nice to me for very ridiculous reasons. And it's like, well, I'm not going to say no.
Sure. But
it depends, the more secure we get in life and the more we can do for ourselves, that becomes less of a thing. But I can see how some people at some points in their life. Also, I mean, if you're Steven Spielberg's kid, you're also handicapped in some way because he can't just get a regular job on his own. Like, what is he going to do?
He could if he wanted to.
He can, he's not, like, what is he going to do?
I don't know. And again,
if they find out, like, if he wants to do real estate, people find out who he is. People are just going to book him so they can meet him, and then they're not going to, I don't know.
I don't know. Kate Hudson is one that also usually rubs me the wrong way as well. even though she gives one of the better performances in Glass Onion, a film I did not like and will adhere to not liking.
The point I'm trying to make is that I think there are pluses and minuses in not having anonymity to explore your authentic self. Like if you've been under a microscope since you were born, yeah, you have a lot of privileges, but you also don't have the privilege of developing into your own person. You're always in this person's shadow. Like, so I think there's a lot of value in that.
I wish you'd stop talking about Solange this way.
Anyway, someone liked something from Tiffany's.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Yes.
Because I was really hyping that movie up.
You were.
But I don't think it's like a masterpiece. I just thought it was so fun to watch and get like worked up about.
And speaking of some Nepo babies, we have Zoe Deutsch in there as well. But again, like
I liked her.
I don't know.
Thank you, SC Hart 1975. That's very nice. I'm glad you liked the podcast.
Thank you.
Waiting to Exhale. Well, we recently rewatched it.
Did we? It's been a minute.
No?
It's been a minute.
I feel like, or maybe I watched it on my own one morning. Someone else like something from Tiffany's. I'm so glad.
Anything Loretta Devine's in is worth watching.
So a comment says, someone knew Michael Alec. He was a baby Godzilla until the day he died. I was still getting his party invites until his death, but I was soured after the Desmond is Amazing incident. He had zero remorse for anything. Well, because I've watched, like, there are 2 documentaries about him that I've watched, or that incident, and then like watching interviews from him, and then him in prison, him getting out. Then I followed him on Instagram when he got out. And then I think there was like a little reality series on, maybe WoW produced it. I could be mistaken, but he seemed like kind of an icky person. I mean, clearly he murdered someone and dismembered them and disposed of the body. But beyond that, he seemed kind of like an egomaniac. So but I would love to. That's just such a wild thing that someone had this
little universe.
Like someone occupied this little universe they created for a period of time that influenced generations, and then they committed this heinous crime, and then they went to prison, and then got out at a relatively young age, and then went on to like go back into the community and sort of have some fanfare is really odd. I mean, I guess I contributed to that because I followed him on Instagram. I was just so curious, like, how did this person commit this crime? And then they're just on the gram, like, throwing parties. I love Dr. Pepper. This is Cherry Zero Dr. Pepper. But we also have cream soda, which I like.
Same.
You can't always find that.
No.
Also, it's hard to find diet soda, period.
Even in LA.
Where everyone is like, yeah. Did we see the House Party remake trailer?
I don't usually watch trailers.
No, but I definitely want to see the remake.
Yeah, we'll be reviewing it. There were a bunch of films in the early 90s with Black leads and lots of television as well. That all kind of got phased out. I think Erica Alexander had a really good point in her interview on The Breakfast Club talking about that.
Yeah, I would recommend that interview. So Erica Alexander from Living Single, she was interviewed on The Breakfast Club, and she's an impressive lady.
Yes, and talking about her mom and the goofer dust and
oh my God! Now I want to rewatch that.
It's a very good interview. Yeah.
Thoughts on Oppenheimer? The Guggenheimer?
No,
I know
Christopher Nolan's new film. Doesn't that come out?
Oh, that's a movie. Okay. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I don't plan on watching the trailer. I will just be reviewing it when it comes out.
It hasn't come out yet.
I think it comes out next summer.
Crossing Jordan?
The TV series?
I'm not familiar. Oh, Vanessa Williams in New Jack City is Vanessa Williams from Melrose Place.
I was going to say. Okay.
Not Vanessa L. Williams.
Vanessa Williams from Candyman.
Or Forever Miss America.
Right?
And Candyman, yes. My memory of her is from Melrose Place. Did you think Wesley Snipes was underrated?
Yeah.
Well, especially now because like him in Dolomite Is My Name is so perfect.
He should that was an Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
That's an Oscar worthy role. Tu Wong Fu. I mean,
Oh, Passenger 54.
I just
I
rewatched
could-
a bunch of those. And
Oh, you watched it? I
and Boiling Point.
Oh, more compliments. Thank you.
Although, what's the one he did with? Is it Rising Sun with Sean Connery? That one I don't think is aged as
That was hard to sit through.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I thought it was fun, but it's
It's-
not a good movie.
and mostly because of the Connery character. But
Allegedly, Christy Swanson was jealous of Jennifer Connelly on Higher Learning.
well, Jennifer Connelly's gorgeous.
Is she? Okay. I don't. Does she look like the lady from Underworld,
Kate Beckinsale?
who looks like Ben Affleck's ex-wife,
Who's Ben Affleck's ex-wife?
Jennifer Garner?
Oh, I think
I think those three look the same to me. I don't know.
no, I think
They're all brunettes.
Oh,
right?
I think you did a post about Jennifer Connelly. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. She does look like several people to me.
Okay.
Christy Swanson. Oh, what's the movie she did that we watched? Like Hell something?
With Dean Cain?
No.
There's a recent movie she did with Dean
No,
Cain.
it's older and it's like her and this
Highway to Hell.
Highway to Hell.
Mhm.
She's cute.
She's the original Buffy, yeah.
I think someone already asked about 200 cigarettes. Heather's birthday is on Tuesday. You're going to watch The Menu and White Noise. That's an interesting way to spend your birthday, but happy birthday.
Yeah.
I like The Menu well enough.
Mhm.
Or I think I actually really did like The Menu.
I would watch The Menu second.
Yeah, you might want to, and you need to cleanse your palate. So I think The Menu would be a good one. You have had such colorful roommates. Yeah, I have. My shady stories. I'm just telling the truth. State school, $4,000 with dorm. Yeah, that's the way to go. Oops. Shit. Okay. Oh no. Oh wow. Okay, I'm going really slowly.
You are.
Oh god. Okay, I need to pick this train up. Will Andy Cohen be shit-faced again tonight? Well, like weren't we told there's no drinking?
Really? What's the point then?
Oh, you'll never get over my story about my roommate with who I thought had crabs. Sorry, girl, if you're watching. Pepperidge. Yeah, Nick likes to throw a lot of things in my food. Lemon juice.
Lemon is a low caloric flavor that you can add to most things.
Scrambled eggs, though?
Sometimes I feel like it. I don't know.
Oh, someone bought pozole today. That's good.
Well, Joseph's half Mexican, so
I am. My mother's Mexican.
that's what I mean by his people.
Do you like House with William Catt from 1985?
No.
Oh,
It's okay. I mean, we lived with somebody for a minute that loved that movie.
who?
Coleman.
House.
The horror.
Oh, where the popcorn, the movie theater?
No,
No?
that's a movie called Popcorn.
Oh, well, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, you watched it.
I don't know who had the best hair in 2022, but I've decided that I'm going to try for 2023 to keep a spreadsheet of bad hair
Okay, there you go.
because I often mention bad hair. And then when people ask me, I can't recall anything.
Not surprised.
So I'm going to
yeah, you
try.
should.
I'm going
Mhm.
to try.
You need to you can create an app like a letterbox for bad hair movies.
And I'll be assassinated. Nick saw Megan a couple weeks ago
Mhm.
because he's writing a review for Spin Magazine.
Yep.
But I'm watching it this week.
Yep, and then
Or next week?
and we're reviewing it on our channel as well.
Don't ever get divorced. Well, do you believe? Oh, do you believe? Oh, actually, I'll save that because I'm going to talk about that tomorrow.
I don't know Courtney Love's story about Fight Club.
An episode talking about hair. I got to keep track of hair. I got to get through these though. De Palma's Blowout.
With John Travolta.
Have I seen that?
No, and Nancy, what's her name? That was with Nancy Allen, the villain from Carrie, who was married to De Palma then. Yeah, it's kind of a play on Blow Up, the Antonioni film. But yeah, that's a good film.
The Kindergarten Cop. I think the ending with what's her name, Penelope Ann Miller.
Yep.
I just didn't see them having that kind of connection. That after all that, she would run to his arms
in front of all these kids and kiss.
Bobby Brown has a lot of songs I like. I really like On Our Own from Ghostbusters.
Why do I hate Ray Nicholson? I just think it's annoying because he's not particularly pleasant or the best actor. So it's just like, I don't know.
What are your thoughts on Harmony Korine?
Interesting and uncomfortable. I often feel like, especially his early work like Gummo and, I've never seen Julian
Harmony's
Donkey
a gentleman?
Yeah. You like Spring Breakers
With
Vanessa Hudgens and James Franco. I could rewatch that actually. It's been a minute, but yeah, it's okay. I didn't like The Beach Bum. The only funny part to me in The Beach Bum is Martin Lawrence as the man who's teaching like swimming with sharks and then gets.
Okay, I'm trying to. You were at a concert backstage with Whitney, Robin, and Bobby. Robin was sober and trying hard to protect high as a kite Whitney from Bobby. Well, that tracks, I guess. Thank you, BMCK. John Malkovich's kids have regular jobs.
Good.
I wonder what they think of Mind Cage. Okay, I'm trying to quickly get.
There has always been
We're
nepotism because some friend was talking about how hot he thought Jason Patrick was in Lost Boys. I'm like, well, he's a nepo baby too.
Drugstore Cowboy.
Gus Van Sant after Mala Noche with Kelly Lynch and Matt Dillon. Yeah, I haven't seen that in years, but I remember liking it more or less. What
are you really looking forward to this year?
I don't know. I have to do some coverage on upcoming films shortly, but there's a new from the Turkish filmmaker Nuri Bilge Ceylan, which I'm excited for. And of course, I think I mentioned this, Francois Ozon reunited with Isabelle Huppert.
I know they say the sweeteners in diet soda are worse than sugar, but I mean, maybe I want it to kill me. I don't know. Well, also drinking, I mean, if I don't drink that much soda. Maybe one a day, but that's not like every day.
Okay.
Like I'll have like 3 in a day sometimes, then I won't have soda for a week. But if I drink that much like regular soda, I feel like that'd be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that sugar is like
poison.
It's all poison.
Well, yeah.
Okay, Don Cheadle was very nice.
I'm glad.
What's the new Eddie Murphy movie on Netflix?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Oh, with
a new release?
Yeah, you talked about it because it has some other cool people in it.
My mind's blanking.
Eddie. Yeah, they're like cool people. If I'm thinking correctly.
I know we'll be seeing a new Beverly Hills Cop movie this year. That could be interesting.
You thought Megan was fun?
I thought Megan was fun. I mean, it's predictable and it's PG-13, but I liked the character of Megan quite a bit. And I discovered a song by the Scat Brothers that I wasn't familiar with called "We Walk the Night," which is, they don't show it in the preview, but that's what she's doing, her little meme viral dance. It's to that song. So I've actually had that on a repeat.
Have you heard of the film Hanging with the Homeboys?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Mind Cage is almost as bad as Jeepers Creepers. I agree. Okay, so it's more than an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's New Year's Eve, so that means people are going to be up late.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope everyone stays safe.
Yes. No drinking and driving.
No drinking and driving.
Especially, they're all watching for that tonight. So
yeah. Or stay at home. Have you seen Close?
Close. Oh yeah, I reviewed it out of Cannes for Ion Cinema.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Joseph hasn't seen it. We have a screener though. I've asked you to watch it. Hasn't happened yet.
Well, I need to eat lunch.
It's a queer film technically.
But Happy New Year to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
We will be out and about this evening.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have a podcast tomorrow.
Yes.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No.
No? Oh, no. Wait. Okay. My computer. Imagine my computer goes to sleep stuck on live. All right.
When
Well,
you hear the real shit be
yeah, would you hear how Nick really talks to me?
What? How you speak?
No.
Mm.
All right. Bye.